face front true believers. Welcome to the Pitch Nerds. We are the weekly show where two nerds from across the world assemble to bring you the latest in nerdy news, reviews, and occasionally pitch things. I'm Cap, and joining me today, as always, best friend, fellow nerd, Tai Chi master, and sex guru, Mr. Frosty. Mr. Frosty, how are you doing?
What's up, everybody? Pretty tired.
Yeah. So sorry about last week. Somebody tried to get me to go to snow, and it just wasn't meant to be because I've never been in snow before. Believe it or not, I've seen it from a distance. I think it's a Hollywood illusion that's been perpetrated by the Illuminati to convince people that the Earth actually isn't melting. But
I've been in snow, and it's real. Like, I'm not part of the Illuminati. If I wish I was.
See, that's what you would want me to believe.
I'm approachable. Why can't they invite me to join? You know?
You have a stonecutter tattoo on your butt, I'm sure.
Funny. That's based off the stone. Isn't giving anything away, but my grandfather was a mason.
That's awesome.
He did that to and they do, like, once you're a mason, you're like, they pretty much get stuff taken care of, like, because when he passed away, they kept taking care of his wife for him. Like, she needed a TV, they just brought in one.
She needed somebody to keep her warm on those loans.
Nah, you're not gonna say shit like that about my grandmother. Sorry. I'm ignoring it and moving on.
I was going to say, there's a Futurama thing there where at some point you can go back in time after your grandfather's passing because you are part of the Stonecutter Illuminati, and you somehow become your own grandfather. Oh, we have somebody joining. Hold on one second. Yeah, we'll be right back. We're going to get our guests. I hear sound. And yes, and the screens are in the right spot, and looks like Brimstone has reached the top of the mountain there on Frosty's chair. Sorry about that, guys. We are back. Here joining us today is Mr. Gary, creator of Stargazers. We had him on, and then had some technical difficulties, and we were going to have him on last week, but this whole thing with this hoax of snow, which I still believe doesn't exist. It's all an illusion.
It's real, dude. I'm sorry.
No, it's not. There's no such thing as snow. It's fake. But anyways,
what was I snowboarding on?
you weren't actually snowboarding. You know what?
It was like
All this could be solipsism, and y'all could be the part of the artificial
it's a,
reality.
yeah, a total recall scenario.
Yeah, that's what it is. Trying to convince me that there is such a thing as snow.
Well, you're saying my wife isn't real? I mean, come on.
That make a great poll, nerds. I love Total Recall. I haven't seen the remake, but I don't think I want to see the remake because it's one of those Arnie movies that when you watch again, it's so cheesy. And Arnie, let's face it, is not a great actor, but he's just so cool anyways, and he just exudes his weird charisma where it kind of works. But
He's a good actor, but he's an actor that plays
that type of
Arnie.
role, right?
You know, like yeah,
like in friggin' The Running Man, where you see him in the work camp, and he's just holding this big like I-beam girder, just like it's nobody's business. Like, no, you can't do that.
It almost looks cartoonish, but he makes it work, man.
Right. I mean, he does make it work because he at that time he was just so cartoonishly ripped. I guess he was just at that peak superhuman. But anyways, Gary, thanks for joining us today. We're going to go through some nerdy stuff that we've amassed throughout the last couple of weeks. We're going to talk about The Mandalorian. We're going to give you the floor to talk Stargazers. Really looking forward to that. Frosty and I know we're really looking forward to picking your brain about that.
Okay.
Anyways, Frosty,
hang on. I'm gonna mute myself, so we're gonna do a quick sound test. It's a little delay, but it's best because I want to make. And if anybody's listening, wants to chime in, let us know how the sound is. Let us know.
Yes.
I'm just gonna mute. So there's gonna be a delay because I have to mute one and listen to the other. We don't have a producer.
We don't have a producer. So,
pretty good. Gary, do you want to try talking?
Okay. Testing. 1, 2. I don't know if I'm coming in loud enough or if I have to adjust anything.
no, you sound great on my end.
It'll take me a minute. I guess there's a quick delay.
I am the very model of a model individual. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Pneumono ultramicroscopic silicovolcanoconiosis.
Say that 5 times fast.
Flurm.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're good, Gary.
We're good.
Perfect. I think we're all pretty good.
Cool.
Like I said, if someone's volume's up or down and you guys are watching, just let us know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, anyways, welcome back. We're gonna
turn sound to this guy. All right, guys, I'm back.
Okay, we're back. Oh, the joys of having a producer. Anyways, we are on the low budget here. Anyways, so Gary,
you have a budget?
Yes. So anyways, Gary, thanks for joining us. Frosty,
Awesome.
Why don't just dive into news? It's been a couple weeks, so I know we have some backlog. A lot has happened.
Well, I try to drop what is less important and keep what is.
Right.
Because obviously some of the news is old. Also, we'll get into it. Totally my bad, but I overslept today and I didn't catch today's Behold Nerds. I think Cap and Gary can talk about it, and then we've got other stuff that we can fill in. Plus, obviously, we want to dedicate most of the time towards you, Gary, with Stargazers. So, starting with nerdy news. This is interesting. Owen Wilson is supposedly going to be returning as Mobius in Deadpool 3.
Yeah, heard about that. So I saw a photo of Mobius sitting at a table with Wolverine, Hugh Jackman Wolverine, and Deadpool. Look neat. I can see them just pulling the timelines together to find a way to plop them into the MCU.
Yeah. I'm down for more of his character. I liked his character.
Oh, he was a great character in Loki.
Not everybody did. I mean, the thing is, I see a lot of this stuff on Twitter, and Twitter's kind of a cesspool. Like nobody likes anything there, so
right.
You know, I feel like my viewing is skewed, but yeah, I thought he was a fun character. I'm down for him to come back. Especially, I think he'll work well with Ryan Reynolds and Jackman in a kind of more silly movie.
So,
what are your thoughts, Gary?
I like the character. I like Morbius. The movie, it was a miss for me. I didn't really care for the movie, but
Oh, yeah,
I
so
like the actor.
really quick. So that's
Yeah.
Morbius, the movie. We're talking about Mobius, the what's his name's character from Loki.
Gary.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Loki.
Yeah,
Loki.
Owen
I got
Wilson.
you.
Owen
I
Wilson.
got
He's
you.
coming
Owen Wilson.
back as
Oh, okay.
Mobius
I
from
got
the
you.
Loki show. They're gonna put him in Deadpool 3.
So
Hmm.
yeah, just that
Alright,
outside
okay.
agency. You know what I liked about his
Okay.
performance? He played a like a charming but sinister at the same time. And I don't think I've ever seen that from Owen Wilson. Like there was a almost like a cockiness to where it's like, yeah, I operate outside of time, so all your problems are kind of like beneath me, kind of thing. Like none of this matters. I got one job and it's to do this, and y'all try to fight it. You can't because we're better. Like I sort of like that about his character, but I'm glad to hear that. I think agreeing with Frosty that the three of them would be good together.
Yeah, like there's a weird thing about Owen Wilson where like I'm not a huge fan of the actor, like in a lot of his roles, and I don't know why, but
It's the
he
nose.
just he worked well in Loki. I thought
Yeah.
I enjoyed his performance. I was happy to be hanging out with him. I thought him and oh god, I'm blanking on the Loki actor's name, but I thought
Tom
they
Hiddleston.
worked well together. Yeah,
Yeah, Tom Hiddleston.
yeah, I thought they worked well together. So yeah, I'm down.
Yeah. In similar casting news, Ghostbusters Afterlife 2 has gone quote unquote woke by casting Kamali Nanjiani, so Kumar, as one of their Ghostbusters, I guess, and that apparently makes the franchise woke now. They also cast Patton Oswalt, which I think would be perfect because I think he has
Oh
the
yeah,
right
I
type
heard
of
Patton
charisma.
Oswalt was going to be in it.
I think
I
he.
didn't know that people were. I don't know. I just, you know me. I'm gonna get angry if I.
I know, but deliberately phrased. Oh, Ghostbusters 2 is woke because Kumar's
The
in it.
actor
Ah, the actor
yeah.
Kumar. Ah, but I heard this like, wait a minute, he's funny. Like Patton Oswalt. How is casting Patton Oswalt make a Ghostbusters Afterlife movie woke? I don't get it.
I don't know.
Like, I don't get it. But I can see him being a good Ray-ish type character, I guess. If you want to
Well,
check the
I
boxes.
I don't. Yeah, I don't. I mean, I don't even know what the movie is gonna be about yet. So, like,
I don't know. I'm just being speculative, but it's gone woke.
I know, but what I'm saying is, I don't know what his character is going to be, who their characters are going to be. But I mean, I think both of them are good actors. I enjoy Patton Oswalt in a lot of stuff, and yeah, the other guy, he's fine. I don't
Yeah,
have a
he's fine.
problem.
Yeah. You're woke. We're woke. Damn it. Ah!
I gotta see a trailer. I gotta see what they I gotta see how they pull this together.
I don't think they have the trailer.
They don't
out
have it yet, so it's just early, like, just tweets from the actors saying that, hey, everything's looking great.
I saw it on
Having
Twitter
fun.
that they were, yeah.
But
Okay.
it's woke. Rabble. What else do you have, Frosty?
All right, so we talked about it briefly earlier this week off camera, but an action RPG game based on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin is in the works.
Yes.
It's going to be a AAA game inspired by the recent God of War titles.
Nice.
Thoughts, I guess.
Gary, have you played or not played? Have you read the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Last Ronin comics at all? Or familiar with them?
Kind of familiar. I haven't read it, but I'm kind of familiar.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it's not spoiling anything, but there is of the turtles, there is the last Ronin, and you sort of follow their. It's in the distant future, so you have an aged turtle who is on a quest to sort of avenge the family. I
Oh,
guess
okay.
so.
I mean, yeah, it's a revenge sort of passing of the torch story.
But it's so
It's
good.
darker. It's more similar to
The original
comics.
Yeah. So,
It's good. Yeah, a lot of people love it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's totally worth a read if you're looking for a comic. to check out.
I let fellow nerd Dan, one of my best friends, who isn't a comic book guy, read the first 3 issues, and he said, "Oh yeah, that's actually pretty damn good." So that means a lot coming from somebody like him. So if you haven't checked it out
Okay.
yet, check it out. It's really good. And
Well, okay. So here's my thought though. Like I've been saying, do a TMNT game for a long time. Last Ronin, sure, that's an awesome premise to start with.
right,
Where it loses me, and I know I'm in the minority here, is when it says it's a AAA game inspired by the recent God of War titles. God of War, I know people love it, but it's the same AAA game, just with a different paint job that comes out all the time. Item crafting, open world, do this, do that. It's anytime you see AAA action RPG, you already know exactly what the game's going to be like.
yeah.
And I guess, I don't know, in my opinion, an awesome TMNT game is Arkham, but Turtles.
Right, absolutely. Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like that.
So, and that would sort of be on brand with
the
being a ninja. Yeah, you're being a ninja. So, I absolutely agree, but I don't know. We'll see. It's just do it right. That's it. But I do agree, and I don't really play a lot of games anymore. I've kind of gotten over it, but a lot of the games, like I can pick up a controller, put on a game, and I can tell within minutes if it's an EA title, just because they have this a certain feel to them. But
EA, you mean?
Yeah, EA.
Oh yeah, they're trying to gouge you for all your money.
Oh, of course they are.
Yeah, that's how you know if it's got a million menus and like daily this and all this, and you barely see the game through it all.
Right.
That's an EA game.
Right. You want to enter this area? You need to pay us $30 to enter this area.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So do you guys feel like they should like move away from the beat 'em up stuff and go more into the action RPG with the TMNT?
No, I'm fine with the action RPG aspect. It's just that
don't borrow from the same template. Make it unique.
Yeah, it's just that like all AAA games that come out recently, they all have different paint jobs, but the gameplay is the same. And like so they're all taking these different franchises, but if it's all the same game either way, I don't know. And I do Arkham but Turtles, but which is me saying, but that's not a game that's like done again and again and again, and you could add your own twist on it.
Right.
So yeah.
Well,
that's just my opinion.
We saw the Arkham formula succeed with the Shadow of Mordor.
Arkham Knights?
With the Mordor game, because it was very similar, where you're the dude and you go and it's Arkham, but in Lord of the Rings.
I didn't think that. I thought that it was what do you call it? Assassin's Creed.
All right.
It played very similar to that to me because of like the parkouring, the sneaking around, the going behind, stabbing people. Arkham was basically a rhythm combat game. And that was originally what they were going to create. They wanted to make something more like Guitar Hero, but with like fighting. And when you play an Arkham game, you're like, oh, it sort of is that, like, because you're it's like you get into a rhythm and then it's like dodge
with doing the combos and everything.
Yeah. And that's why I love that combat style for gameplay.
Yeah, it is great.
You know what I wish? I feel like they missed the opportunity by not doing a fighting game with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, because they was a fighting game back in the day.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, and you could also, they've got such a massive library of characters that you could do a bunch of them and stuff like that. That would be cool.
You hear that, internet? Give the pitch nerds a bag of money. We'll get it. Figure it out.
You know what I think would be a cool Turtles game is do like an action RPG, but like make it more like focus on the RPG aspects of it, and then but instead of playing one of the turtles, set it in that universe, and then have the character you start with you choose DNA from an animal, and then it mutates, and then your mutation is what determines your skill tree in the RPG, and so you further mutate as you go through the game.
That's interesting. And that sort of ties
Oh.
into the lore in Last Ronin a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be great.
Oh, it's just
I mean, that's how the tabletop gameplay.
There's the tabletop game, yeah,
where it makes it random, so because it's a mutation. You don't get to choose your mutations; it's random.
Yeah,
I
I
like
mean,
that idea.
because it's a video game, I would let the what do you call it? I would let
the player
people
choose.
Yeah, choose the animal. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? But keep the random aspect to a degree. Like, you don't know how you're gonna mutate.
Frosty, pick an animal. Go.
Puma.
Puma. Gary, pick an animal. Go.
Bear.
Ooh, bear. Okay.
Oh, we're at odds now.
That's awesome. What would I go with? I don't even know.
Should have said wolf, but I was on the spot.
Wolf, lion.
My brain was like,
This
the old ladies were thumbing through the files. What's an animal in the thing?
What else do we have? I have some big news from Florida. It looks like Disney has finally caved, and they are willing to pay their coworkers starting minimum $18 an hour. So the unions over there didn't have to strike, which is perfect. But they are guaranteed a pay raise of $20 an hour by 2026. It's a start. I mean, it's coming from Florida, so that's only on the Florida side. So over here on the California side, the unions are going to use that to sort of leverage the same deal over here when their contract expires. I think their contract's up in like about a year or so. So go.
Wow.
I'm for supporting the Disney cast members because they're criminally underpaid. For this
How much are they paid?
it's criminally underpaid. That is my answer for a theme park who can pay for itself in its entire daily operation within the first hour of opening. Has the money to pay for more. Like, okay, you guys, we're open for. We make our whole budget within 2 hours on a 10 to 12 hour operation day. That's still monstrously good. But on similar note, so the former CEO Chapek, who stood down after his contract expired, and then Iger came back in to sort of fix the mess. On his way out, Mr. Chapek cashed in on $20 million as his exit bonus. Now, if I do bad at work, I don't get $20 million. I don't get that. As I'm sure with any of you guys here,
they're operating on a different level than
right. But do you see the problem there? Do you see it? Like there it is. I've isolated it. There it is. But anyway, so good news in the micro sense, I guess, but still, the cast members are treated like garbage. But thankfully, they're getting some more out of the company because Universal is hitting them hard, and the Universal isn't even trying to hide it anymore. They are out for Disney blood, and they smell it in the water, and they're going to make their move with Mario coming out, and I hope Mario's good. But anyways, that's my rant. That's my
I don't know if it'll topple the mouse, but although actually,
momentum. It needs momentum.
Fellow nerd super killers actually watched last week's stream and mentioned that he said he agrees with you. I don't even really remember when we were talking about it, but I guess it was a Universal Disney. That Universal could take down Disney. Especially if they got Pokemon,
right?
Which, I mean, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they'll take it down.
I mean, not take it down. So Disney has in Marvel, Star Wars, everything has announced a bunch of delays with their shows. So Loki, I think, got pushed back. Everything's just gotten pushed back, and I think what they're doing is now that Iger is back in charge, he's trying to patch the holes. So if things need to be given more time, so we're not just so inundated with Disney crap and just let us kind of savor what they give us, then I think that'll probably be to their benefit.
Inundate me all you want. I got nothing going on. I'm bored. I want another show. I mean, Mandalorian. We'll get to it, but it's really good. But
Yes.
yeah.
Ah.
All right. If anybody's wondering, this is a cat toy I'm waving around because my cat.
Got one of those too.
You mean it's not a BDSM thing?
And my cat is hyperactive and he's trying his best to get my attention. All right, so let's see. So this is a bit controversial. I was hesitant to even put in because I don't like to get bogged down in these kind of conversations. But Zachary Levi, is it Levi? I don't know.
Zachary Levi.
Seemingly confirms reports that Dwayne Johnson blocked Hawkman and other JSA characters from appearing in Shazam: Fury of the Gods. So there's obviously this big discussion. Zachary's on Twitter and saying like, oh, you know, the Snyder fans are happy it failed. And then obviously this came out about The Rock. There's been a lot of reports that The Rock didn't want to have anything to do with Shazam. He was trying to restructure the DC thing so it was focused on Cavill and himself.
Yeah.
And that's why he brought in Cavill in his movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, supposedly characters like Hawkman and stuff, they were supposed to be bringing Shazam into the JSA or whatever, or Justice Society, yeah. And then they didn't because The Rock didn't want that to happen, and The Rock has a lot of clout. Which, if true, that's up. I mean,
that's pretty shitty. So, I'm not sure if you've been hearing about this, Gary, with all the rabble surrounding Black Adam and Shazam. The Rock, it seemed like his ego sort of got to his head, and in the rogues gallery, Superman has his list of rogues, and Shazam has a list of rogues, and every once in a while they can cross over. That happens, but historically, like Lex Luthor isn't exactly a Shazam villain. Black Adam isn't necessarily a Superman villain. So to try to cram those together and then have Shazam, 2 movies of Shazam, and not really mention Black Adam, that seems kind of dumb. Like you're setting it up wrong.
I'm fine with that. Like, to be honest, like let him do his thing. Let him fight Superman and introduce Shazam later. No problem whatsoever. But to actively use your clout to try and dissociate yourself from another DC property and not just do a cameo where he comes in at the end.
Right.
Like, yeah, I don't know. And the thing is, look, the Black Adam wasn't good. He the whole movie he was like, "Oh, I'm not a hero. I'm not a hero." He was being a hero. There was no bad guy in him.
Right.
You know, the only thing that changed it was he killed people. And they're like, "Oh, heroes don't kill people." Well, guess what they do in the DCEU?
Right.
All right, that was a rant.
I mean, Batman does just steamroll a bunch of dudes in his tank car. Like,
yeah, I'm not saying that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm just saying we've already established that happens.
It's not consistent, guys.
You walking around saying you're not a hero doesn't make you not a hero. Like, you weren't a villain. You know?
Right. So.
Yeah, and it tanked. The Black Adam, it was a mess. You know, I saw it. I was like, it could have been way better in my opinion. It was all right.
So
yeah, it was all right. You could sit down and have a good time and watch it, but it wasn't like that movie's not gonna like change the DC universe. Right. You know, like,
it'll be forgotten in like 3 years. Like it'll just get eclipsed by something else. I never saw it, but I'll say this: my youngin went to go see Shazam 2 last week, and she absolutely loved it.
I want to go see it, but I wasn't feeling well, so I didn't.
And it sucks that apparently they do set things up, but if you separate that and don't look at the canonicalness of the movie and just enjoy it as a movie, people are saying it's actually a pretty good movie.
I'm liking the actress who played Mary Marvel. I wanna see it just for her.
Mm,
But I think people are saying, "Oh, just have her be the main character."
mm-hmm.
I said, "No, no, no. Have her go evil. I want Black Mary." And then I was thinking it doesn't work with the colored thing, so maybe you'd have to maybe like I don't know. I just think it would be cool. Mary Marvel, take the Supergirl story, give her a red power ring.
I'd watch the shit out of
Yeah.
that.
That would be dope.
I
What are
like
your
where your head is at, Frosty. I like that.
But anyways, my youngin said that she really enjoyed it, and that's it. She really enjoyed it. Done, done, done. That's it. It did its job. It entertained. But she did say that yeah, it's disappointing that they set things up that aren't going to get paid off. But we don't know what James Gunn is. We don't know what his vision is yet. And he said that yes, these can be Elseworld things, but if eventually you get to the point in James Gunn's DC mythos where it becomes like extra dimensional, multi-dimensional, you can call back to those sources. We saw it in Spider-Man. Hey, this franchise didn't work, but life still kept chugging in that universe, and they just pulled from it, and everybody was happy.
I mean,
everybody was happy.
Everybody's doing the multiverse thing now, though.
I mean, this won't be till I'm assuming years and years down the line. I mean, it was 10 years or so before we got Andrew Garfield back as Spider-Man.
True.
So just I trust in James Gunn. I don't know. I still don't. I still don't get it.
The only real problem I have with the Shazam movies is, or I haven't seen the sequel, but the first one anyway, is I at no point believed that the scenes where he's, Billy Baxton and the scenes where he's Shazam, he's supposed to be the same person.
Right.
Those are not the same person. It was oddly flipped because when he was Shazam, he was like, "Hey guys," and he was the kind of lighthearted way.
Yeah.
And then when he was Billy, he was like kind of more dark and brooding.
Yeah.
And and yeah, they just felt disjointed. It didn't feel like the same person,
Okay. Well, you know what? Now that you call it out, I can see it. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't sway me at all in the movie though, because I really enjoyed the movie. It was a refreshing breath of fresh air from the Snyderverse because it was fun, and a superhero movie I think should at some point be fun because it's a superhero movie. It should have some element of fun to it.
I don't think there's any problem with having the darker, more serious Snyder movies either. I think they can both exist.
No, right, exactly. They can both exist, but I definitely appreciated big cat butt, big fuzzy cat butt. But
I'm giving him a treat to try and convince him to be quiet.
Do you think you guys think the James Gunn can salvage the DCU?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. We haven't actually talked about this. I was interested to know where you come in. I'm a massive Gunn fan, so that sounds weird. I'm a massive James Gunn fan. Not that I have a problem with guns, but so yeah, I'm excited to see what he does, and I think salvage. I don't know if that's the right word. I think he's going to do his own thing, and
he's gonna reinvent.
And I just think he's going to do his own thing. We're going to get some movies that they'll either be good or bad. Probably some will be good and some will be less than good. But I mean, generally, James Gunn's movies are good. So I'm excited for the new Superman, and I'm all happy. I mean, where do you land? So obviously, I think you might have seen on Twitter we get into some debates. We have some very hardcore Snyder fans that are less than happy about James Gunn.
Are you sure they're not just all bots? Are you arguing with AI bots?
I know where Gary's thoughts are because we haven't actually discussed it before.
I like James Gunn. I like his movies, and I like Snyder. I didn't really have a problem with the Snyder cut. I just think that the way the DCU is right now, it's so convoluted. It's just so much going on that he's probably going to reboot everything anyway. I think that's what they're trying to do with the Flash movie, trying to reset everything
Mm.
and bring in a new Superman and new actors and stuff. I think that's the right direction because to try to continue with what's here right now, I don't even think James Gunn could pull it off.
Well, so that
Yeah,
You know,
well, also, I mean, Snyder. I mean, like, I understand a lot of people wish Snyder could continue what he set up, and obviously they're very passionate about this. And I'm not going to say they're wrong because I mean, you love what you love, but um, I think it's look. I think it's wrong that people are getting so upset at Gunn. That someone came to him and said, "Hey, you should do this." He's obviously likes the source material, so he's. It would be like if someone came to us and said, "Hey, can you guys start making DC movies?" I'm not gonna continue what Snyder has done. I'm gonna do the Pitch Nerds version of this of
right,
DC movies, you
right.
know, and I think it's crazy to assume that he would, and I think it's a little weird that people are mad at him for it.
So
I understand people also love Cavill's Superman, but I mean, he wanted to go a different direction. That doesn't mean he didn't like it or you know what I mean? I
so
don't know. It's
yeah.
like getting mad at the new guy, and he's just like, I just got here.
so the way I see it, and you can sort of tie this into the Star Wars sequels, is that these movies were made without a straight path, I guess. Let's set up things, but don't have a beginning, middle, end, and they kind of reflect that. You can tell in the Snyderverse if they had a Feige and just knew how to steer the ship and tell the story, I think it would have benefited from a Feige type figure. So I'll even smash the two toys together. I can see James Gunn being like the Feige and commissioning Snyder to do a movie. Like I can see that happen. Both toys can
Yeah,
exist.
I don't know. I mean,
It's
I think
just
he's kind of done with that. Like, I was talking about this with a fellow nerd, Rob, creator of White Owl.
mm,
That I mean, he's got Rebel Moon coming out on Netflix. He's got this lucrative Netflix deal he's working on,
mm,
and I mean, it would be like, okay, so let's say I was hired to make DC movies,
mm,
and then obviously and a bunch of stuff has happened between then and now, and then another company said, hey, you can make whatever movie you want, and so now I can bring in my own original characters,
right,
and it's a lucrative deal, and I don't have studio interruptions.
right,
I'm not going back to DC. As much as I love DC,
right,
I'm doing my own stuff now.
right. So yeah, but either way, I think James Gunn seems to have a plan. He seems to have a through line, the same way as Feige had a through line. So
Mm.
I think it's a very simple fix. That's it. That's how you fix that. That's how you would fix the Snyderverse. Is if you build the time machine, you go back in time. You be in that boardroom and be like, hey guys, if we want to build up to Darkseid, okay, let's do that. Well, what are the stories that are going to lead us to Darkseid? Let's build up to that. Instead, they came
Well,
out.
people loved what he did, though. I mean, I
They
think that.
did, but what WB tried to do, what DC tried to do, is they tried to be all of Marvel in 3 movies. When Marvel at this point already had like 10 years ahead, like under its belt. Here comes the side.
I agree, but I don't know. I don't know. I've too many of our followers are just like these movies are god tier.
How?
That
Okay.
I think that there must be, at least for some truth to that. So, I don't know if you could improve the movies for those people. I think you could probably improve them for the general audience, but
Right.
then it might water it down for those people. So I don't know. I thought that they were good. I like the Snyder movies. I think, but I'm not opposed to Gunn coming
Right.
in any way, shape, or form. I really like some of Gunn's stuff.
Right.
Where did you? There we go. Let me read the next news thing, and I will. Then we could. I'm going to find his cat toy. Oh, speaking of Zack Snyder, his highly anticipated science fiction Star Wars inspired space saga, Rebel Moon, is already planned to have R-rated extended editions.
Nice.
So are you guys excited for that? Obviously, you're a sci-fi comic nerd, Gary. I mean, I'm really interested in your take. Are you excited for Rebel Moon?
Yeah, I'm interested. I want to see what he brings to the table as far as original sci-fi movie. I'm interested.
I'm excited for his visuals, like cosmic visuals, like sci-fi visuals. Like I don't think we've seen that from Zack Snyder, really. Like,
No,
I
not
mean,
yet.
yeah, his visual style is definitely his strongest thing. He does action, and it's just his movies are gorgeous. The action in his movies is gorgeous. I just, I mean, anytime I watch a Snyder movie, I know I'm gonna be like, just like, wow,
right.
and like, so I'm excited for that. I'm excited that it's inspired by Star Wars, but it's gonna be its own thing, something new.
Yes.
And
Fresh sci-fi.
yeah,
Love it.
Yes.
but
Thank
I
you.
do think it's funny that it's already got R-rated extended editions planned, because it's like he's like, yeah, I'm gonna make the Snyder cut, and it's like, well, isn't the movie already the Snyder cut? Because you're not getting interrupted or anything. And he's like, yeah, but I still want a Snyder cut,
Right. That's just his thing now. Release the Snyder cut. That's awesome.
I don't know, are you looking forward to it, Cap?
Oh yeah, new sci-fi. Give me fresh sci-fi. Damn it.
On Netflix too.
Yeah, I'm also a sci-fi creator, and I've got my own thing that I've been working on for a while now. So
Oh, awesome.
sci-fi is one of those realms or one of those genres where it just, I guess Marvel is sci-fi-ish enough, but like Dune, I would say would be like the best sci-fi we've had.
Marvel is very sci-fi nowadays.
Yeah, it is nowadays. But like a good sci-fi for me, like within the past like 2000s, I suppose would be Moon is a good sci-fi. Those are Behold Nerds. District 9 is a great sci-fi. That should be a Behold Nerds. And Dune. Like those three within, I'd say like the 2000s are just pure sci-fi
Master.
yumminess. Yeah, just sci-fi mastery. We just don't really get enough of them.
I thought the or not remake, but the sequel, I guess, of Blade Runner was top tier sci-fi. I was blown away by how good that was.
Oh yeah,
That was surprisingly good.
I think.
I didn't think it would be, right. Like, you just didn't. It kind of.
Oh.
Failed his acrobatics.
Yeah. He's a young cat. Anyway, but yeah, I thought that was really good. I'm excited. Let's see an R-rated extended edition. Sometimes though, I do think, like, do you remember when Justice League, the Snyder cut of Justice League came out, and it was like, you sat down, you watched the 4-hour movie, and you're like, oh, this is fun. And then they were like, now the Justice is Gray version, and it's the same movie, just black and white. And it's like, do I really need to sit down through 4 hours of this again?
Yes,
in black and white,
Yeah, like that couldn't have been an option or something.
Yeah.
So you know what did that? Like, sort of related, but the Walking Dead comics were all written in black and white. It's all drawn in black and white. So after the series concluded, they said, well, how do we make more money? I know, let's go back to issue 1, re-release it, but in color. So
Yeah.
it's like, no. And I was already on a pull list, and I'm like, what is this? Like, oh, no, you can buy everything in color. It's like, I don't want this.
Like, I already bought everything.
Yeah. Search for more money.
But I'm still down. Give me the. I don't know. If they both come out at the same time, and I'm like, I turn on Netflix, boom, boom,
Right.
and it's like, do you want to watch Rebel Moon, or do you want to watch the extended R-rated version? I'm immediately scrolling over to the extended R-rated version.
Of course.
I mean, like, just release that one. Like,
it's not for everybody, Frosty.
I guess.
Yeah,
All
so
right, so this one's kind of interesting. So obviously there's a Jamie Foxx Spawn movie in the works. We've talked about it
can't
before.
wait.
Todd McFarlane has been gunning for that director's chair, but he was in an interview and he said he didn't get it. He explained the reason being is, and so it also hints at stuff. He says you got Jamie Foxx, who's an A-lister, and he's like, we're getting several A-listers involved in this project, and because it's no longer a small $8 million horror movie,
Right.
the risk is too high for them to let a first-time director in the director's chair.
Makes sense.
So they're bringing in someone that has experience in making money. I mean, I know that sounds not like we always like
that is an accurate
first.
statement.
Yeah, but we think of art first, but at the same time, these are massive risks for studios, and so I kind of understand where they're coming from because a studio should be first concerned about making money. That's fine, I accept that.
Right.
But you know, it would have been cool to see him direct, but I understand their decision not to. I guess.
So will he at least be admitted on set?
No, he's involved in it. That's why he's
that's fine. So like with Star Wars,
give him an executive producer position.
Yeah, let the brain be there, but that's fine. Yeah, that's totally fine. As long as he has a presence to just follow.
No, he's involved in it. Like I said,
Yeah.
and that's it. And so we know because of this conversation we had.
Yeah.
We know that he's
still involved, but
well, not that he's involved, but we know that he's bringing in other A-listers besides Jamie Foxx.
Right.
Who these people are, we don't know. But it sounds like his original vision, which was to do a movie focused on, oh god, I forget, the two detectives.
Yeah.
Where Spawn isn't the main character; he's a background character.
That'd be great.
Is no longer going to happen. I think they're probably going to do a more traditional, if hopefully R-rated, superhero movie. I don't know. What are your thoughts, Gary? Are you a fan of Spawn? Who would you like to see direct as well?
That's a good question. I love the original movie that came out back in the day.
You like that one? The live action one?
Yeah, it was campy.
It was
silly,
90s cheese. It was delicious. Savory cheese. It just hasn't aged well, but if you have the right palate, it's delicious.
It was cool when he jumped down in his cloak.
Like
the
poorly... It's like the reboot style, like CGI graphics. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
You know who'd be a great director? Just because his name is there. Snyder, I think, would do great at directing Spawn. I think he'd be great.
This might be I'm gonna say Jordan Peele.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
With the horror angle, I think he could do something interesting with Spawn.
Oh yeah. That's a good name to throw in there. Oh yeah.
I'm gonna go Guillermo del Toro.
Oh, that's another good one.
Yeah, because he does Hellboy and some of those darker characters and stuff, and give him an R rating and put Spawn in his hands. I think that would be really dope.
Oh, yeah. All are good answers.
J.J. Abrams, no, just
no.
Michael Bay.
Oh God.
Oh man.
I have a thing to throw into the nerdy pit. I'm not sure, Gary, if you've seen it yet, but out of nowhere, we got a trailer for the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, like, coming together.
Reunion
on Netflix. This was a gift that I didn't even realize I needed. Like, they bring back Billy. For Pete's sake, they bring back Billy. I'm not sure if...
Black Ranger.
Yeah, they brought him back too. It looks like they're kind of pulling from all the mythos, but it looks like they're having their own.
Well, there are certain people that didn't want to do it, so they brought in, and obviously they reference like Trini.
She passed away. Yeah.
So they brought in the Rangers that replaced people like the original Red Ranger. Although didn't he get arrested recently? I don't know. And then obviously it's a shame that
Amy Jo Johnson, I didn't see her in the trailer at all. You'd think that she'd be all
yeah,
over it.
she also mentioned that she's happy to see all her friends and stuff, but for whatever reason it didn't work out with what's going on in her life. So yeah, and I mean the big sad one is obviously the guy, I forget his name,
Tommy.
the guy who played Tommy Oliver.
Yep.
Has passed away, because he would obviously have jumped on this in a heartbeat.
Right.
I'm not a huge Power Rangers guy, even Mighty Morphin. I was just a little too old.
Yeah.
And I mean, I still saw it because other shows I watched when I was younger, and it was around,
Right.
But
just by osmosis.
Yeah, you know how it is.
Yeah.
Like you're aware of its existence, and you've probably seen a few episodes, but it's not like
right.
Hell yeah. And you know enough to know that Tommy's the cool one.
Of course. He's the one with the shoulder pads, damn it.
He always had the best Zoids, man. I was like,
he did. But
yeah, dude, I will admit, when I saw the Dragon Zord, I was like, okay, that is cool.
Right?
I love the Dragon
So
Zord.
I have the Saber and Saba up there. We go, right there.
okay.
Yeah, this is a
Dude,
house
I can
of
still
nerd.
remember the White Ranger, Tiger Power, White Ranger. And then he's all talking in his ship. He's like, Saba,
Saba, let's do this. Ha!
Yeah, no, he goes, have the Tiger Zord follow my exact movements, and he like, phew, 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 and he does all this stuff, and then it cuts to the Tiger Zord, and he goes,
they blew all their budget on that one move.
Great.
I say that trailer was definitely. I saw it last night, and it was.
It made me feel.
It was
something.
a welcome surprise,
right? So
yeah,
I
was actually excited,
right? Like I this is a treat that I didn't even know was out there until it just. This is wait, what? Power Ranger? What is that? Is that Billy? No, that's not Billy. And to watch him like. Holy shit! And they embrace the campiness of it. You can tell there's a little layer of sadness to it because they do address a trainee's death, the actors who passed away also on 9/11. Very unfortunate. Yeah. And plus, again, the passing of, what was his name? Tommy. But
Tommy Oliver.
Yeah, it's...
Yeah.
And I was
Jason David Frank, is that his name?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
But I was sort of at that age where, because Frosty's a couple years older than me, so for me it was, I was right at that age. Was like, okay, this is interesting enough to where I'll sit and I'll have it on and watch it, but I didn't like how campy it was, and I was very conflicted after the first episode because it looked like they just took footage of old things and smashed it together, which they did. But my 5th grade brain noticed that. I'm like, that's really weird. Like, I feel like I've seen this footage before because I didn't really watch a whole lot of anime back then. I was sort of unaware of how it operated, so I didn't know that they had actually spliced all this footage together. So it came across to me as disjointed. But
here's my thing. You know how and I talk about this all the time nowadays, and I'm more cool with it. But you go onto Twitter and you find out something like, "Yo, they're making a new." I don't know, Thundercats or something. And
right.
You're like, and then everyone's like, Barabble, it sucks. This isn't Thundercats, and yada, 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 yada. Right. And they get really mad. And I'm like, it's fine if it's not Thundercats nowadays.
Right.
But I used to think just like the mob. And I turned on Power Rangers and I went, this isn't Voltron. You know? And the whole time I'm just thinking, this sucks ass. Voltron would kill these guys. And I was doing exactly all the stuff I hate. Because that's how you tend to think. Like, you know,
right.
and so that was why I was never big on it. I understand now that Power Rangers is clearly its own thing.
Right.
They don't own the giant robots getting together formula, but
right.
I still think the best thing ever was Mega's XLR. When they brought in the team that was like Power Rangers, and they show up in their dinosaurs and they're like half his size, and he's just laughing. And then towards the end, he's like, "We need to combine," and he starts grabbing their things. But rather than combining like where they transform, he's just like putting his foot into them, and like the pilots are like it's all getting bent around. They're like, no.
Such a great
And then
show.
he's done fighting the bad guy, and they all just kind of fall off him like junk. Megas XLR is great. They need to bring that show back.
They should. We're reaching the 11:30 mark. We should probably
Okay, yeah. Well,
turn
one
it over
last
to
thing.
surrender to Gary.
Ben Affleck won't be directing Guns, Brave and the Bold.
No.
That was the last. Yeah. So I mean, what are you upset about that?
Okay.
I love Ben Affleck as a director. I thought he would have been a good fit for Brave and the Bold.
Actually, you know who I think would be good for Brave and the Bold? If they reel him in just a little bit, Taika Waititi.
Yeah, they would need a. Well, obviously, yeah. I think don't go what like. It worked for Thor, but don't do it with Batman. Don't go that crazy.
Right. But
I don't know.
I don't think he could help himself.
Yeah,
he's got some more serious movies, but I think the thing with Love and Thunder that people were like is he made Ragnarok, and then Love and Thunder was a sequel, so you tend to go harder than you do in the previous one, and I think people are like, oh, this is 100% comedy now,
right?
And and I don't think that would work with Batman. But who would you pick, Gary? What's your ideal Brave and the Bold director?
Batman. That's a good question. I have to think about that one.
All right. Well, if you come up with an idea,
I'll come up with something.
You can marinate on that.
Real fast as well. A fellow nerd, Richard. Said the artist we had on for Project Impact. He chimed in this week for his pick for a Doctor Doom casting.
Okay,
Adam Driver.
Adam Driver.
Yay, nay, thoughts?
Can we? He's hideous and handsome at the same time, and it hurts my brain. And I think John Oliver just encapsulates my feelings about Adam Driver.
I think, dude, he's a good actor.
He is.
He kind of looks vaguely like Doom. We already know that he can play a guy in a helmet.
Yeah.
I mean, like he's a solid actor. And I thought, like, holy shit, that's a really good idea.
Actually,
now
that I'm thinking about it, yeah, I can see it.
He posted a picture of him standing there and disfigure his face more, and then dude, it's Dr. Doom. Well, Dr. Doom, he has a disfiguring,
Yeah, so Adam Driver's halfway there. So yeah, okay.
Some comic book creators are like, oh, he's not actually disfigured; it's just a tiny scar, and he's so vain that he thinks like it's a big deal. Like the Dr. Doom.
Yeah.
And different writers write him different. Anyway. All right, yeah. Let's. So that's all we got for nerdy news. If we got something wrong, let us know. And
we're never wrong. We're infallible.
Yeah, we are not infallible. Anyway, so yeah, let's welcome our guest, creator of the comic book Stargazers, which your crowdfund is still up, right?
Yeah. It'll be up for a couple more months.
All his links. We'll post everything. I will post your Twitter handle right now. I'll post some stuff in chat while you talk. And also got to get this cat to shut up. So tell us about Stargazers. And tell us about yourself first and who you are.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm almost 40.
Me too.
You guys there.
Yeah. Right now, living in Richmond, Virginia, and I grew up, reading comic books and Marvel, DC, Image, all that stuff, and started drawing. I originally wanted to be a comic book artist, and I drew comics as a kid, and I made it to in high school, I went to a art school.
Cool.
And the High School of Art and Design in Manhattan is renowned for, you know, uh, having people who went on to, draw comic books
Yeah,
in the
for sure.
industry.
For sure.
And but that's where my aspirations stopped in high school. That's as far as I made it. Um, and then I took a break for a couple of years from comic books. Just real life happened, and I
As it
got
does.
back into yeah, and I got back into comics like around 2017.
Hmm.
And funny enough, I was looking at Stargazer. I couldn't find it in any of my local comic book shops. They didn't quite have anything like that. So I was like, you know what? You know, let me just come up with it. I think I'm a pretty decent writer. So that's how Stargazers was born, essentially. You know,
That's awesome.
and yeah,
No, but so you went to the comic book shop and you looked for, I don't know, like a good sci-fi. We were discussing this early on the show. You couldn't quite
yeah.
find a shoe that fit, and you said, "Fuck it, I'll do it myself."
Pretty much. I was trying to find. I was really looking for sci-fi that leaned heavily on martial arts, and uh, there was nothing clean that I could pick up. I could say, okay, you want Iron Fist or Star Wars? We don't have anything in the middle, but we have that.
Right.
So yeah, so that's
So,
decided,
so speaking of Star Wars, Mr. Frosty and I both saw some Star Wars inspirations in the comic that is online to read. Want to talk us through it? So I noticed the spaceships looked vaguely TIE Fighter esque, but had like a bunch of lasers on it, which I thought was cool. So one of the things I preach is if you're making something new, you want things to feel familiar but different. So
Yeah.
there's a familiarity to it to where it's like, okay, I can sort of identify that, but it's different enough to where it's like, okay, it's its own separate thing. But I'm a fan of that. It felt familiar, but it was refreshing. It was different. I could see the different little elements of inspiration here and there. Um, so walk us through it. Let's the
Yeah,
story.
we checked out you had your preview up. You can check out the first 21 pages, I want to say.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so we checked it out. Yeah, we noticed a couple of things. So on your crowdfund site, there was a one of your characters. I thought, oh yeah, it was. I think you took inspiration from like Boba Fett and Mandalorians, and then you had another
yeah.
character in the preview. I think I'm blanking on his name. Was it
The,
Russo or something like
the,
that? He
Russo,
was.
yeah.
Yeah, he was standing with like this. No, I was like, oh,
oh,
cool.
that's Dark Side.
He's like a
Hmm.
dark side character.
Right.
Hmm.
So yeah, it felt very kind of Star Wars, where you like to use elements of both sci-fi and fantasy.
Mm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
like, tell us about your comic, like walk us through like your inspirations, ideas, and that kind of thing.
Well, yeah. Well, aside from the initial idea, where I was looking for the said comic book, couldn't find it. I really wanted to. I really, I really wanted to do a sci-fi book, but I kind of wanted to make it make it different,
Mm.
and not just a rip off of Star Wars
Oh,
or
absolutely.
Superman or something like that.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
wanted to do something fresh,
Right.
and I took a little bit of inspiration from One Piece as well, with the
So
with
everybody tells me to watch One Piece, to which I say, if I were to start now and get to what is it, episode
uh,
976,
yes.
I'll be dead. I'll be fucking dead.
No, there's no way you could catch up. I would say for
Just
you.
that ship has sailed. Like metaphorically speaking, literally speaking, that ship has sailed.
I tried to get into One Piece, because I'm fine with something having, you know, 900 episodes or whatever, because it just means I'll always have something to watch.
Right.
The style, I liked aspects of it. It was just a little too. I don't know. I like my anime a little bit more on the serious side, and like One Piece is, well, it's got serious moments. It's also got a lot of wacky moments, and and it's not that I'm in any way against that. It's just not my taste, you know.
Totally understandable.
But
It tends to get more serious through the latter half of the series. As
mhm.
after the time skip and all that stuff, it gets more
Yeah,
serious.
and I think that's a common thing why I don't watch a lot of anime is because it's like you get some anime, and I watch these ones more where it's like a 14 episode thing, and then it kind of, we might get more, we might not. Um, but the long form ones, there's a lot of filler and things like that, and I don't know. I struggle to sit through those, you know.
Really quick, David Montoya, thanks for
Right.
joining us today. Please feel free to chime in on the nerd chat. Let us know what you're thinking. Um, anyway, sorry, going on. Resume.
Are you good?
Doo-doo-doo-doo.
But yeah, but it's interesting you put from One Piece as well. Um, so yeah, so you said, and it looks like you had some Kirby inspirations as well. I'm guessing, like
Yeah, so
Oh man,
our artwork, Jack
yes.
Kirby. Notice that page 1, you can see Jack Kirby inspiration, which that is a good pool to. That's
yeah,
a
it looks
good.
like, yeah, maybe some new gods, new Genesis kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Yes. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a Kirby fanboy, man. He's like he's at the top of my list, man, as far as inspiration and motivation to do comics. I always try to put myself in his mind frame as far as like pushing the medium to its absolute limit,
right.
and that's what I want to do with Stargazers. You know, uh,
Yeah, nobody does like psychedelic sci-fi like Kirby does. You know,
Right.
it's brilliant.
Right.
yeah.
But
So,
no, hold on.
well,
Go ahead.
this first book is gonna be about 102 pages, maybe 108. If
Wow.
I put
Nice.
some extra stuff in there, and this is gonna be the first of 4 books, and this first book is gonna wrap up the first arc to where our main character and his, I guess you could say, sidekick, they end up uh, just getting into space.
Okay.
So the end of the book, we're starting our real adventure.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah,
That's
so
cool.
you
So
kind of set it up in the preview. So the story
Yeah.
is basically it's a father son story. The father is lost through some kind of event that happens, and
Hmm.
the son is now gets a distress signal, and then he seeks
Hmm.
them out. I mean, what can you tell us about the story?
Well, I could say after the initial preview, we find out why Sage wants to learn martial arts. We found out fairly quickly on after the traumatic event with him getting robbed
Earth
at
being
gunpoint.
invaded. Yes.
Yeah, yes, Earth being invaded, all that stuff.
Right.
um,
Yeah, that just
it,
happens every other
yeah,
Yeah.
day.
it's not a big deal. um, he comes across Flora Miami, who is a martial arts instructor, and she teaches him this mystical form of fighting
Hmm.
that he's worthy of. Because she just doesn't, you know, she's a very humble person. She doesn't just take anybody off the street that wants to learn.
Right.
So he's deemed worthy, and
Can I
uh,
ask what's your when you're talking about the martial arts? Like, what is kind of your inspiration, or like what would that style that he learns remind you of?
hmm, good
Character.
question. When I was growing up, I saw a lot of Fist of the North Star,
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Ishiro,
Cool.
Yeah, I used to
So,
watch the North Star.
That's a good answer.
yep.
Okay.
So his
Which
style.
character is it? The guy that does the da, 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 and then you blow up, or is it the
Mhm.
one that makes the strands and you get all like?
um, I would say I drew inspiration from the main character, the Kenshiro.
Okay.
Um, and there's elements like if you read the story, there's elements of that fighting style from Fist of the North Star. It kind of creeps into the book.
Okay.
Certain things he does is similar. And I would say another inspiration would be Eddie Gordo from
Hmm.
Tekken 3 with the capoeira. So
Okay.
his fighting style, he uses fists, but he uses his legs more. You know,
So
it's a
constantly
very
moving, almost like a dance, and then just kind of going in, doing pop,
yeah.
pop, pop, and just resuming the dance. Okay, that's cool.
Mhm.
With a
I
little
have
bit
an
of
original creation myself because I'm a big martial arts fan. Like I love kung fu movies and all that. And my character that I created knows all martial arts. Like, it's well, the thing is the idea I had was he's like a chosen warrior, so he has access to previous chosen warriors, and they all add something. But
Oh, okay.
it's all done with a Norse theme. So generally speaking, his fighting style would have been based on like Vikings and things like that.
Ah, okay.
so.
But
The
anyway,
Norse.
sorry. It's just I get excited when
Oh.
start talking martial arts.
Wait,
Like,
wait.
yes,
So then, I too in my project have a martial art. It's called Revcore. It is sort of like it translates to fluid stone. This particular race who
Hmm.
uh, came up with it, their bones never stop growing, so they need to remain fluid and limber at all times. So they created this sort of dance martial art to keep their bones limber. And you have these three different,
Ah.
so you have these three different stages of this mastery of Revcore, and so there's this planet that is kind of has orbiting continents kind of in its orbit, and each continent represents a different level of Revcore, and they start off at the top and they work their way down to the bottom, where it's the mastery of the entire body to keep their bones limber, and it's a whole thing. But it would be sort of like a
Ah.
well, like a almost like a capoeira kickboxing kind of deal where you just keep moving and you're just hitting the joints and just breaking off the bones that don't stop stop growing.
Hmm.
So that's my weird sci-fi
do you
contribution to the
guys
martial
ever
art.
read Pratchett? Did you ever read Terry Pratchett? Any of his stuff?
No.
No,
Were
I
you
can't.
into Gary? Like, oh,
I haven't read it.
if you're looking for a good book, pick up a Terry Pratchett book. His books are great. They're all parodies, but in one book he had a kung fu style. It was called Deja Fu, and what it was,
Okay.
these guys were monks, and their job is to keep time in order, and so they could control time to a degree, and so they would like slice time finer and finer and finer as fighting each other,
Mhm.
yeah, it was pretty cool. But yeah, he called it Deja Vu. I thought it was awesome.
That's funny.
But
That's funny you say that.
Anyways, you have the floor.
yeah.
I'm kind of sensible, maybe a crossover between all these
Oh, there.
books we mentioned.
I love
Maybe.
crossovers. I love crossover. We'll talk after the show. That'll be our next pitch.
Yeah,
Well, yeah. So okay. So we learned some martial arts, and so it sounds really cool. You're kind of writing like a martial arts kind of space opera. It sounds like basically.
yeah. I would say the quickest, easiest way I can explain it for any new listeners. I would say take Luke from the original Star Wars
Hmm.
and mix that with mix that with
Pause. I appreciate the phrasing of that last statement, by the way. I see what you did there, and I love you for it. Sorry, resume. Doo 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 doo.
and did you guys ever see Yu Yu Hakusho?
Yeah.
Okay,
Familiar with it, but
t-
I've never watched it.
take Luke and take Yusuke and kind of blend it, and you would have this first installment of Stargazers.
Okay,
No, that sounds awesome.
I'd read
Yeah,
the
so
shit out of that.
obviously a lot of like anime is something that you love and you've definitely pulled into your own work. Where do we see that most? Do you think in your comic?
I would say you would see that in not the artwork because
Yeah, that's
like
why I
I,
didn't notice like
yeah,
really was because your artwork, you definitely I would say draw from Kirby kind of
yeah,
inspiration right there.
yeah.
And it looks gorgeous. Like I
Super well
was looking
done.
at your book, like wow, this book looks great.
Right.
I mean, go, you guys need to check out his. You just check out the preview, because it the art looks great.
It is on
Appreciate
all of
it.
our social medias. Like, please check it out.
Thank you. I would say as far as the artwork, I lean towards more Western, is Western American comics. The manga and anime inspiration really comes through as far as the ideas that I set up in the book and a little bit in the dialogue. You know, the way Sage and Jokar kind of play off each other, you know, it's um it's not something you really find in Western comics, you know.
Right.
Yeah, I read a lot of Western comics, and it's different.
Are you a big manga fan? Do you read a lot of mangas as well?
Mm, a good amount, a good amount. I would say what really takes up most of my reading time is indie stuff. You know, I just love indie stuff because
It's not studio.
it's not studio, it's not constrained by any
Right.
agendas, anything. You're just getting raw talent put out there, and
I
that's what I love.
8,000% agree.
Do you have any recommendations for us as to a book to read?
To read, I would say check out check out Decay from Anthony Stokes. He's been, you know, I think he's on issue 5 right now of Decay, and he's been, you know, putting out a lot of solid work. And I would say, oh man, there's so many books that came out. I'm trying to keep up. Every week is
I
a
was
new
always
book coming
interesting
out.
to know because I
but
think you can kind of really tell like what by someone recommends. Like you get a feel for who they are. Like and I love always hearing like who people are like. Oh, you got to check this one out.
right.
hmm and I would say Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer. That's another good that's another good book.
That sounds
Um
awesome. Like all of
yeah.
those words together sound intriguing to me. I love
And it's
it.
whatever image you have in your head,
It's
it's gonna
that.
be
Is it that?
it's that it's that times 5.
Yes.
It's crazy. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, one
Uh,
I've been telling people to read recently is 8 Billion Genies. Have you read that one?
No.
You should
Mm.
check it out. It's a cool book. It's the plot is that one day everybody gets their own genie that will make grant you one wish, but it's
Mm.
global. And
What?
so yeah, the world gets messed up really fast. But this guy who runs a bar, his wish is nobody outside this bar can affect anybody inside this bar. And he kind of hunkers down like a bunker through this apocalypse of witches.
Interesting.
Wow. All right. I just
So,
wrote that down. All right, I'm gonna check that out.
and then Last Ronin would be my big thumbs up to check out. So good.
Yeah,
Last
Last
one.
Ronin's good.
Last
Yeah.
Ronin's so
Okay.
good.
Definitely gonna check that out.
So not sure if we want to move on to Behold Nerds. It sounds like Frosty didn't get the chance to see it, but it sounds like Gary has seen
Yeah,
it.
I apologize, everybody. I was planning to wake up and see it this morning, and I wasn't feeling well last night. As you guys know, I have kidney failure, so I just zonked out. And I
Oh,
have my alarm set, but the evil me that is me when I'm asleep, uh, turn those off. Uh, But did you see? I know we talked about it. You saw a fourth kind, right, Gary?
Yeah, yeah. I saw it a couple years after it came out.
Yeah,
I
Oh, okay.
remember it.
yeah. It's so. For those who are tuning in, Behold Nerds would be our weekly segment where we each take turns picking a type of media for the other to consume, and we encourage everybody else to participate and join us in the discussion. It was my pick.
Well, why don't we push Behold Nerds back? I'll see it, and we can do a proper Behold Nerds.
Okay.
I mean, and then instead, why don't we come in with some Battle Nerds? Because I mean, we can always hear a new opinion.
Okay.
But I would like to roll out the Carve It to You after we do Fourth Kind. Gary, what movie should we do next?
Hmm. What movie? Let's see.
Yeah. I
Let's
mean,
see.
any movie. It just has to be something that we can rent. That's
Right.
like some stuff is
It's
no
like-
longer streaming, so it can be online.
Okay. How about we do? How about we do Taxi?
Taxi.
Taxi.
Okay.
Okay.
Robert De
Sounds
Niro.
like a plan. So, we're gonna do Fourth Kind next week, and then the following week, the Behold Nerds movie will be Taxi.
Taxi.
So watch the movie and then tune in, and you guys can discuss it with us and tell us your thoughts on Taxi.
Let me find out where it's streaming.
It's Taxi. It's gonna be streaming somewhere.
It's got to be on like.
Yeah. Oh, it's free on
Probably not
Pluto. Yeah,
Netflix.
it's free with things. Okay, cool. It is
Okay,
available.
cool.
Anyway, so we'll do Battle Nerds then. Yes.
Yeah, we'll do Battle Nerds. So,
Cool.
so Battle Nerds is a game where we had a list of 100 iconic characters. We roll dice and we see which character we get, and then we have to come up with an argument as to why the character we picked won. Afterwards, we put a poll up, and you guys can vote on who you thought won, and the loser is taken off the list, and we're fighting down to the ultimate pitch nerds champion.
Who was who fought last?
So I was going to announce last week's winner. Let me pull up my sheet.
Oh, that was the Harry Potter one, wasn't it?
Yep, it was
Yep.
Harry Potter versus the
Ronin.
Last Ronin, which
Yes.
we've been talking about. And so basically a Ninja Turtle versus Harry Potter, but an edgy Ninja Turtle from the
In
future.
age,
Um,
AG.
Yeah. And the winner by landslide was the Last Ronin.
Yes.
A lot of our viewers love the Last Ronin. So he sliced off Harry Potter's head,
Nice.
and Harry Potter goes down with a single win. It is the Last Ronin. So this week we are debating returning champ.
Oh,
His second place winner, Xena, the warrior prince. No, yeah, she's got 3 wins
Mhm.
under her belt, so she's killed all the other contenders.
Mhm.
Xena versus first time. No, did we have Dread on before? Yeah, one-time winner Dread.
I think Dread beat Yoda. I think is what that was.
Yeah,
I
so
don't know.
Dread is now fighting Xena. So, Cap, you had Xena, the warrior princess.
Oh my
We've
god.
talked about her. We know what Xena can do. Why can Xena beat Dread?
So really quick, what version of Dread are we doing? Like,
I'm gonna go. Oh, so yeah, one rule in this game is we're allowed to pick our versions. I'm going with comic book Dread, just because it's my favorite one.
okay.
oh,
Good grief. I forgot we were doing Battle Nerds today.
Sorry, I figured it was easy because we all know the characters. And we've done Xena
Yeah.
a few times.
So, I guess what type of setting are we in? Because
You can pick the setting. Where do you want this fight to go down? Do you want it to go down in Xena's universe? Our universe? Dread's universe?
just maybe building adjacent, but have like a prairie or some type of open meadow or something. I don't know.
Well, which? All right. So yeah. So
Because I
A
can see
prairie?
I could see benefits over one to another. So,
All right,
anyways,
all right. I'll pick a setting if you're okay with it.
all right,
Let me suggest one.
Gotham.
It is. Well, I was gonna say, Dredge universe, but we're out in the
Like
what do you
the
call it?
Badlands or whatever.
The freaking toxic wasteland around him.
Yeah.
But I know that seems unfair to Xena, but we'll assume Xena has been hanging out there for a few years and now understands how that part of the society works.
Okay.
Does that sound like a fair setting?
That fight. So Dredd has the advantage with range. He's got his gun, and Xena would have to get in close. Now, Xena, because she's a master martial artist, weapons expert, she can, even though she relies on her chakram and a sword. I don't know. I can see Xena having the advantage. I mean, not the advantage, but her if she.
I mean, I think if Xena's been there a few years, she would have learned how to use guns and shit.
Yeah. So I mean, if you want to give her guns, I suppose, but
Yeah, you don't have to. I'm just saying. I would argue that.
So guns are available. Okay.
Unless you want to take it over to her world, and then where Dred's like showed up in her world. And so he's the only one with a gun. I'm fine with that.
I'm okay with Xena not having a gun because the people who are watching, I get it. Let's just go Xena without any just additives, just classic Xena. If she were to try to attack him from a distance, she has expert weapons handling. She has her chakram. As far as dealing with the blows that Judge might be able to dish out towards her. I know she's not bulletproof, but she does have some resilience to damage because she's a demigod. So
she may be a demigod. It's hinted at,
right?
Never confirmed.
So she would have.
She does have powers, though. I will agree that she's got powers. So it's most likely
right. So she would need to close the distance fast. Can she do that? I mean, superhuman strength, agility, acrobatics. I think she might be able to dodge some of the explosive rounds that Judge might fire at her from a distance as she kind of closes in. If this comes down to a hand-to-hand fight, God, Judge Dredd just knock cold cock Batman and throw him in an ISO cube. So, I don't know, Frosty. What do you think?
All right, so I mean, I gotta tell you why Dredd wins. This is why I think Dredd wins. He's got his Lawmaster handgun, which has like tons of different forms of fire.
Right.
B, he's not someone that fucks around, you know. He's just gonna come in and
get it done.
You're under arrest, you know. And then when she tries to fight him, he'll go for a knockout probably, but
right.
He's not going to have any qualms going straight to lethal force.
Right.
And then even if she does get in close, okay, that's where it starts to get more interesting because she can fight and really good in close.
Right.
But he can as well.
Right.
But I mean, I would have to argue just because powers, she probably has the advantage, but she's not fighting someone that is a pushover.
No,
in that department,
he cold cocked Batman without any hesitation. As Batman was being Batman, he just said no and just knocked him.
He's done more than that.
I know, but it's still funny though. But
like I'll reveal it later, but it's one of my favorite Dredd moments. Yeah, I mean, but here's the thing. So she's superhuman, he's not, but it's not new for him to fight superhuman people.
Right.
In his universe, there are giant robots.
Yeah.
Mutated things, you know.
Right.
There's superpowers. So it's not new. I think she probably has the advantage, but he's not. It's, you know, you can still fight.
It's still close.
And then he just has better gear.
Right.
That's where she falls short. Is his gear far outstrips her.
Right.
But Gary, what do you think? Xena versus Dread.
I would say it's a mid, low mid win for Dread. Xena would have to get if they're fighting at a distance, she would have to figure out how to get around.
Close the gap.
Yeah, like
Right.
that's. And if she somehow gets past that, she has to contend with them hand to hand, and she might have the edge, hand to hand. But Dread is no pushover.
Right.
He's
it's
it's going in Dread's favor. I don't see how she could win.
okay.
But
But what if her hot companion is there to sneak up? Yes. What if Gabrielle is there and just hits Dread upside the head with a stick?
You can have Gabrielle with her. She doesn't fight with a stick.
I thought you were gonna say Kevin Sorbo.
Right.
Gabrielle doesn't fight with a stick at the end though. She uses two sides and she like she's like way more lethal.
Oh, I forgot about that.
So yeah, you would have, and I do think that Xena keeps saying, "Can she cut the distance?" I mean, I know I'm supposed to be arguing for Dread, but Xena can. She'll do that, la la la, and start flipping around and shit, and he would be like, "What the hell?" So yeah, I mean, she's superhuman. She could probably cut the distance.
I think at some point
the problem is that he's got overwhelming firepower, and even if she does, yeah, she's probably got the edge, but he's not a pushover. He's gonna punch her really hard.
Do you think? Because I can see at some point when she's going to her la la la, la between the volleys of gunfire, that she'll throw the chakram and possibly be able to disarm Dread. I can see that.
But it's not like he wouldn't be able to get the gun back.
Right, but she can time it to where, because she is a skilled fighter. She knows what she's doing, so she can disarm him right at the opportune moment when she can jump in and take advantage of it.
The cool thing would be if it was like he's like, stand, I'm gonna come to jail. What the fuck he says? I'm blanking.
Right.
But he tells her to fucking freeze, and then she comes at him, and then he's like, "What the hell?" Knocks the gun out of his hand, but then all of a sudden he cold cocks her. She's like, "Holy fuck!"
Right.
Rolls back, gets his gun, and then it turns into this thing where she's leaping around, throwing the chakram. It's like bouncing between grenades, running and dodging gunfire. Comes in close,
That sounds badass.
Yeah, they should make this.
They should make this. But anyways, it sounds like we already have a vote in Judge Dredd's favor, so it's also not up to us, it's up to y'all who are watching.
We also have a vote from last week too. PCZ videos, remember?
Oh, he said Dread, didn't he?
Yeah.
So 2 for Dread already. But anyway, this was an interesting fight. We'll see. We'll have the posts up on all of our social medias. Feel free to vote. We'll tabulate it all, and we will let you know next week who wins. That was my favorite, where we get to roll for the next round of Battle Nerds.
Oh yeah,
favorite thing to do.
You got to keep it under 46. There's only 46 fighters left.
I rolled a 45.
All right. You have to re-roll because you got Dread again.
Oh.
He's currently fighting.
That's a 90. 23.
Right. 23. Oh, Captain America, new first-time fighter.
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oof. Sorry, dude.
Uh-oh.
Goodbye, Cap. I got Wonder Woman.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. No, it's all right. I'll make this work.
One rule we do have here, is you get to pick the version of Captain America.
Fucking Endgame, Mjolnir Captain America. There we go.
Yeah, I was going to say Mjolnir Captain America.
Right, there it is. Done.
Now he's got the powers of Thor. So.
Right. So So yes.
Okay, so yeah, this is actually more even than I thought at
Right.
first. I will say, when I made this list, I did think Wonder Woman is going to be a beast to beat, but
we'll see. But anyway, this is going to be a good
okay.
fight. What else?
do you want to? I guess we could do, if you're going the movie version and not comic book version. I will go with Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah. Okay.
So Endgame, Mjolnir, Captain America versus Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman.
Oh yeah. God, it
was
matchup, so great. Yeah. The best part of the first Wonder Woman movie was when she throws the tank. Like, it's so cool. Yeah. Okay. We'll do it. So tune in next week for that. We have about 20-ish minutes to kill.
Hang on, let me pull it. Oh yeah, we haven't talked Mando or what do you call it yet? Last of Us, because Last of Us finale, and we haven't discussed Mandalorian's episodes 3 and 4. So which movie what's his name? Pascal.
The Church of Pedro Pascal is now in.
Yeah, Pedro Pascal. So which Pedro Pascal guiding a child through the world show would you like to discuss first?
Let's go with the dour one, because I didn't think that they'd go through the whole game in season 1, but yes, we can talk about the Last of Us finale.
All right, so Gary, have you been watching The Last of Us?
I've kept up.
Okay.
So
up to date.
Good.
Good. So the season 1 finale came and went. It was the video game. They stuck with that ending, and it came pretty fast. I was surprised we jumped right there, but it worked.
Right.
What did you guys think?
It felt. So they did the opposite of what The Walking Dead did, where they took the game and they made it into its own season, which works. Do I feel like we could have had a couple more things like fleshed out a little bit, maybe between just have a Joel and Ellie episode that didn't really cut to anything? Maybe have one more episode of that to really build up the relationship a little bit more. I would have been okay with it, but I'm okay with what I got. I'm just amazed that they went through the whole game so quickly. It was a phenomenal ending, by the way. It was.
So you just wanted more, is what you're saying?
Maybe just like an episode more that was the two of them, instead of the two of them, followed by a cut back to something else, and then going back to the two of them. Even though it worked, I loved it. I'm not complaining. Just maybe one more, just an episode of the two of them. One more of those. I think it would have been perfect.
Yeah.
What did you think, Gary?
Still fucking amazing goddamn show. Good grief, it's a good show.
Overall, I liked it. I would say they could have cut back on some of the flashbacks, like the episode with Ellie and her best friend.
Yeah.
In the mall, I really felt like that needed to be cut. You know, I feel like that it went on way too long. It didn't need to be.
I actually really liked that episode.
Yeah.
It was based on.
I'm in the minority.
You're wrong, and we're gonna roast you on Twitter. Rabble. You're woke, and you're here to spread your agenda. How dare you? We gave you this platform to talk about Stargazer, and you come in here with this woke propaganda because you disagree with me. You're awful. Rabble.
You're canceled.
You're canceled. You're canceled. You're canceled, Gary. You're canceled.
Oh.
No, but I mean, no, honestly, like, yeah, you obviously everyone has their own personal opinion, and that's totally fine. But it's interesting that you thought that. I enjoyed it. It was gonna knock my soda over.
Evil cat.
My cat's one of those cats that's just like, this is up here, bam.
Yeah, cats are evil.
Can I say one thing real quick before you start about the finale? They did leave out one piece of information that kind of, because at the end, right, when Joel is like, they tell Joel that Ellie's gonna get the surgery or whatever, and
Right.
he's like, no. They left out the fact that in the game
Mm.
that it failed a bunch of times, and this was gonna be the 12th time that they were trying to do the surgery, and
Oh,
I felt like they left that. If they would have kept that in, you would have understood Joel's side, his
I
perspective more. Why
I
he did it.
I completely forgot about that in the game.
I I see,
I'm
but I think
surprised they left it out.
I think it's I think
I
it's better that they didn't know. I mean, because the point wasn't of the point of that whole scene and the whole show and the whole story is, you know, she's gonna die to save the world. He's not gonna allow that to happen because she's his daughter, and you're supposed to go. He chose wrong, but you understand why he chose it,
right.
and I think that if you include that, it undercuts that. That's my opinion, though.
I could see how both can work.
Okay.
So you
Okay.
know what? It was told two different ways. So we have both versions, but both are told two different ways. I was fine with both.
Sure.
Honestly, I completely forgot because I played this game. God, 10 years now. I think is God, it blows my mind. 10 years already since the Last of Us. Um,
I think that's part of the reason why I wasn't a huge fan of the game was because you played it. Because I came downstairs and we used to live together. I came downstairs and I was like, "Oh, this is the Last of Us." And I'm like, eating cereal, and he's just like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "Cool." And then like I come downstairs another time, like, "Oh, cool, you're still playing." And then like it was probably the same day because sometimes Cap would just crush a game, and then like and he was at the end, and I'm like eating cereal again, my boxers. And I'm just like, and then you get to the ending where he's like, the doctor's like, no, stop. And then I just watched you play the end of the game. And then so I played it, and that the fact that he chose his daughter over that, I was already pissed off about it when I started the game. And so I don't know.
well, you know what's great about games like that is that they're almost movies in and of themselves. So you can say
Yeah.
like there are games that I haven't played a lot of games, but I've through osmosis I get it just from being around people who played the games. So I don't know. It was fun. I enjoyed it. It was, what was great about the show is that they didn't rely on like I guess like the monster threat of the week. I guess because
Mhm.
The Walking Dead did that, where they would have these moments, and then it's like, oh shit, it's a zombie show. We got to have the zombies in there in one scene, and there were moments in that show where it felt shoehorned in, and I like that they used reserve with their creatures in this universe in their storytelling because it wasn't about the creatures; it was about humanity surviving. It had already been 20 something years since everything happened, so
Yeah, but there was a lot of humanity still surviving. But
yeah.
well, anyway, so
I'm disappointed we didn't get the bloated ones, the boomers that they call them.
Yeah.
I forget. We didn't get those. Boo.
Well,
Yeah.
so we use a rating system on the show based on Futurama. If you loved it, it's just shut up and take my money. If you thought it was okay, it's you got to do what you got to do. And then if you hated it, it's death by snoo snoo. Gary, what would you rate the finale of Last of Us, and what would you rate the season as a whole?
Okay. I would give it. I liked it. I would say shut up and take my money.
Absolutely.
I'm here for season two.
Right.
I liked it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
also agree. Just shut up and take my money. I'm interested to know where they're going to go in season two. Are they going to follow the game? Which I don't know if that's going to work because I think people, when it comes to movies and shows,
Mm.
tune in because of a character. So if you get rid of a character, I won't do spoilers. Then the show might not work.
No, go hard. It did. They did it in Game of Thrones. Damn it! If you can kill Optimus Prime in a movie for children, all I'm saying, Frosty, Just
No. What's your rating, Cap?
oh, shut up and take my money. 8,000%. Just tell the story. That's it. Just tell the story. Take as don't do Walking Dead, and take one story and turn it into 12 seasons of the Carl Daryl show, whatever. Just tell the story. You committed to a story, HBO. Commit to the story. That's it. You knew what you were getting all into the moment they clicked the seatbelt and cashed the check.
Wait, Gary, am I hearing that you want to see them take it in a different direction?
I don't. I mean, this is just my personal opinion.
No. We want to hear it. We want to hear it.
I don't think they should go the same route that they did with the game because of all the backlash they got. I look at season 2 as an opportunity to not right some wrongs, but let's go a different direction. We know people don't like this direction. Let's change some stuff up, tweak it a little bit.
So
just my opinion.
No, dude. That's we love hearing those opinions. We're not those people. Like, you can have your opinion.
So what I say to that is, the moment you do that, you start becoming The Walking Dead, because you can't do this because then people will get mad. The reason why I think people hated the second one as they did wasn't because of the story. It's because you felt robbed because, oh my God, this happened. How could you do? Oh my God, how can you do this? But it's ties into a point that Frosty often makes, where people start feeling sympathetic towards characters who are intrinsically evil people, that are bad people, and you see that with Rorschach, like Rick from Rick and Morty. They're beloved characters, but they're not good people. So it makes sense how the events of the second game unfolded. So
because you're saying that Joel isn't a good person.
Spoilers, but yes,
it's hinted.
Right. So I can I see it from both sides? Yes. If I were to be given the keys to the kingdom to HBO, and if I was the ones actually making the show, I would set the course. Like, this is what happens. We've seen what happens when we've killed off previous characters in, let's say, Game of Thrones. People get upset, but you know what? The fact that people get that upset, that's a good thing, because, hey, guess what? We made you connect to a character. It is beloved. So I think it's the right amount of outrage. Like, you should feel upset that they did that. Absolutely. They wanted you as the storytellers to feel that. They did their job, and you're upset about it because they took away the thing that you loved. That is a good thing. It made you feel. Unfortunately, people went down the hate wagon.
A very interesting point of view. I never played the second game, so I can't really weigh in, but I know what happens.
Right.
And I mean, I do think that you do bring up a good point. It does sound, though, like if you're a studio, that you're probably not going to want to take that risk.
Right. And that's unfortunate.
And it might not, although that said, it might not be a risk, because there's that larger audience who's never played the game.
Right.
And they're going to hear that all the nerds going, "I hate you." And they'll be like, wait, what is this? And they'll actually tune in.
Right.
So it could work in the studio's favor.
Right. But the
big risk, though.
But you know what?
But the whole thing is a risk either way, because and sometimes doing that, like, look at Velma. Everybody hates Velma,
and
I haven't even seen it,
and it's renewed for season 2.
It's already been greenlit for season 2,
right?
Because everybody hates it.
No, so everybody hate watched it, but up in the echelons of corporate America, they don't care if you hate it. They care that, you watched it. It was a click. You talked about it. You generated it. You got more people to us. They don't care if you like it or not, so long as it makes money. And people don't quite get that. And we've discussed this a lot on the show. But I think they should commit to it. And I'm sure they...
Why Adam Sandler still gets work, because all his stuff turns a profit, even though it's like...
Right.
That's not very good, you know?
Right. Yeah. He's still got that he hasn't aged. It's the same humor, doing the same thing. Like, it's...
Dude, I think you can talk as much as you want on Adam Sandler. I heard one comment that he made. He's like, "Ha ha ha ha! Yeah, I'm going on vacation with all my best friends and my family all the time to these crazy places."
Right.
And I'm just like, "Yeah, I'm gonna make a movie in this part of the world. We all go together and hang out, and then we gotta get paid tons of money."
Right.
And like, it's like,
He's laughing.
yeah, dude,
he found a way to make
like,
it work.
like,
He made it work.
he is winning, but like, I'm sorry, he has crushed life, you know.
Right. We should probably jump into the Mandalorian really quick.
Yep, Mandalorian.
Yeah, sorry.
So
Book 2, Mandalorian, Church of Pascal.
yeah, so what we had episodes 3 and 4. Just so start with episode 3. Starts with a classic, fucking
Training.
starfighter, fucking jet, like them flying around.
Oh yeah.
Ship. And it was great. It was some of the best. Like, they worked as a team and stuff. And I love her ship, the Gauntlet. It's dope as hell.
Right.
Great start to an episode. This show gets it, in my opinion.
It really does understand Star Wars.
Yeah, and then we had it cuts to them going to where Mando's people are, and because she loses her home, and then we had then after that it shifts perspectives to the guy that was
the researcher for the
cloning guy, and he's giving a speech about cloning technology, and then we find out what happened after the Empire fell and these people and where they went, and then it becomes a story about her screwing him over and blah blah blah. You guys both saw it, I take it, right?
Yep.
So, what did you guys think?
So I can see everybody being pissed off of, oh my god, it cut to something else, and it did a book of Boba Fett, but it just the reverse book of Boba Fett, where you took Mando out of his own show to focus on something else. I actually
but this is from his own show.
Well, I know, but I fucking love this episode. We got to see Coruscant from like somebody who's never experienced Coruscant before. Coruscant's badass. Like we get to see it through just somebody who's never been there before. We get to see Imperial housing again. It's the street level Star Wars that the TV shows are sort of just expanding on, which I like, because it's just a whole other universe of Star Wars that's always been there that they've never really focused on. So I loved it. We got to see how things work, and of course she inevitably screws this guy over. But I can talk all day about it. I'm going to pause. Frosty, go.
No, I was just going to say I don't think it's a fair perspective, the Book of Boba Fett thing, because there's an overarching plot in Mandalorian that they've been talking about, and this is a character that's central to it. Because remember, this is when we met Grogu. This is the scientist who was talking about cloning. We've seen clones of frickin' Snoke, and then we're talking about we're talking about combining DNA.
Yep.
That's what that guy was.
Right.
And then we know that the First Order is going to arise soon. So it all connects.
Right.
And so taking the show and giving this guy time makes sense. It's building the show of The Mandalorian.
Oh, but I loved it for that. But some people online were rattling about.
And then I did think it was funny, her ice saber, it was red.
Right.
She's evil.
That's a nice little bit of foreshadowing.
What did you think, Gary?
Oh, I loved it. I loved I'm gonna jump to episode 4 because that's fresh in my head. I just saw it a couple days ago. I like where they're taking this character, and I like that you get to see the inner workings of his people and how they interact and the customs and the tradition. I love that stuff.
Right.
Man.
I am all about that. Love it.
Why this is what, if I was one of those guys, I'd be like, I'm like, and I'm like, yes, this is the way. I would be like, hey guys, so why are we still hanging out on this beach? A giant thing came out and gobbled half of us up the other day.
Let's move inland a little bit.
This dragon thing shows up and takes away our kids every once in a while. Maybe we don't hang out here anymore.
Yeah.
Like that's my one question. I couldn't get it. Like that just, and they're all just chilling out there, like it's no big deal.
Like no cover or anything. They're just out there. They're prey.
Yeah. I mean, I assume it's just because Mandalorians are just so like, fuck you, you move, you know, like.
I mean, it was cool to see more of Grogu's escape from the Jedi Temple, and this ties into the cameo. The original actor for Jar Jar Binks apparently is now depicts a Jedi master. I forget his name. It's the Saber is what he's referred to, but he's a Jedi teacher, and apparently he was in a live action YouTube Star Wars trivia show, where he made his debut as that character. So it was neat to see them take this character that was made because they felt so bad because of how poorly Jar Jar was received, to give this actor who just the world hated because he just played this role. Now you get to be a cool Jedi teacher, and you get to say Grogu.
Yeah, he had a freaking cool scene too.
He had a badass scene,
sliding the bike across the thing, and it was awesome.
So I didn't actually know who that was until Mrs. Cap said, "Oh my God, it's that guy!" when his name came up on the credits. I'm like, "Who?" And she's like, "Oh my God, you don't know who that is?" Like, I'm bad with names. It's like, "That's Jar Jar." It's like, "No." So I had to rewind it and rewatch it. I'm like, "Oh my God!" With the ears, I heard it. Yeah, you could hear the Jar Jar voice, but if you watch, he actually escapes in a Nubian vessel, and he says, "Oh, I have friends," and he escapes in a Nubian craft. That's a neat little tie the bow a little bit.
Yeah,
but
it was cool. Yeah, it was dope. And then we also got the cool scene of like the Mandalorians like being like, "Oh, Bo-Katan," she starts like taking that leadership role.
Yeah.
And then they go take down the dragon bird thing, and you see how like they're like, "Oh, we got jetpacks, but we don't fucking need jetpacks."
Right.
Do Batmaning up the side
because they ran out of fuel, and no, they didn't want their jetpacks to alert the monster, so they had to grapple up. That's why.
Yeah, and then but it was cool. It was like they're like Batman, you know, like, and then they get to the top, and this is what I think with this show why it's good, because we've had Jedi for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see Batman,
right?
You know what I mean? And this is what we're getting. We're getting Batman,
right?
And then they go up there, and then the shit happens, but they're basically flying around. One's in its mouth like fire. And like it's just cool, you know.
Right.
So the thing I saw on Twitter, people were really pissed off about, and like, Twitter is such a wasteland. Like,
it wasn't the Grogu jump. It's the Grogu.
It's the Grogu jump.
Come on, that was the coolest part.
Okay.
Come on.
I didn't know that this was a controversy until about an hour before we went live this morning. I was going through, and it's like, oh, this Grogu thing. Like, okay, and then I remember when I saw it, I remember how my brain reacted, but then I remember how my brain responded to how my brain reacted. So I saw it happen. I thought, that's really stupid. It looks like somebody threw a bag of flour, like a little burlap potato. And then I thought, how else would you do it? It's this little nubby creature. There's no dexterity. So I overthought it, and then I got to the point where I just didn't care because it's still good. So
yeah,
still cool.
It's still cool.
I mean, like, what are they gonna do? They're gonna do like the anime, like, and then all of a sudden he's behind him, like,
right.
You know, like, yeah. If you're gonna make him go up and down, it's gonna look silly,
right? Because he's a child. He's still an infant. He doesn't have dexterity. He can't do the flips that Yoda can do, but you know he can at least force jump.
You know what I thought he was honestly gonna do? This is how I would have handled that scene
between the legs.
Is I thought he was gonna do a freaking Matrix style thing because they said darts.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, okay. And then I thought he was gonna be and he was gonna get tagged, and then he was gonna be like, show him what he can do or something.
Right.
And then he was gonna and then he was gonna flip it and then hit the kid with him. I thought it was gonna be that. And I thought we were gonna see his use of force. I did find it amusing where it's like it looked like he was practicing with the force, but they were just like little crab things. Like,
Oh yeah. That's funny.
he really was just sitting there messing around.
Is that like a little foreshadowing to say that Gorgo is going to like kind of back off from using the Force and
And
go
just
more
be
into
more
the
of a warrior.
Mandalorian?
Oh yeah.
No, I
Yeah.
think he's.
I
I
think-
think
I
he's
think
destined
so.
to wield the dark saber, and he's going to be half Jedi, half Mandalorian.
But I think he'd be leaning
Okay.
Mandalorian.
I guess. I mean, I think he's going to have the fucking Mando gear, but he's going to have the dark saber, and he's going to be.
It's gonna look
There's
badass.
that legendary guy that
Right.
was.
And he's going to
once
have
that.
his ears sticking out of his helm. Yeah, it's going to be badass.
No, well, maybe it'll be like his shapes. Who knows?
No, so what's going to happen, Frosty, is he's going to have a helmet where his ears poke out, and when he puts the helmet on, it's going to go. It's going to make a hiss noise. And then when he takes it off with his ears still exposed, he's going to take his helmet. Oh, actually, he wouldn't take his helmet off. So that's it. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, you put on and just go.
Unless he gets to go eat, and he's leading, they'll be like, "Oh, this is the way," and they all walk away. And then,
You know
like, I imagine how awkward that is.
I-
You'd be sitting there like eating in the dark somewhere.
I actually really like that scene because it's one of those. It's their tradition. This is their custom. Like she is of a different culture of this.
No, I
sect.
know. I just
Right.
I'm thinking about who I am as a person, and like, I'm there. I've got my helmet. I'm like, this is the way, and I'm like, fucking, she gets to hang out by the fire. I'm like squatting in some ditch somewhere, just going, just like black around me.
Next to some homeless guy.
And it's
Exactly.
super dangerous too. Like there's like dragon birds around. I mean,
Right.
can't we all just like sit back to back to back to back and promise not to look?
Right.
Like,
Just have cubicles. Just have little things that come up. High collars. There you go.
yeah, this is the way. And you press a button, it goes, and then you can just sit there and eat under it or something.
That's fine.
That's a good idea. A freaking low umbrella would work. Just have that in your little thing. Just going to pull it down,
If
Well,
you're-
yeah, just have like a little thing on their wrist. You press the button, and a black shield forms around you.
Yeah,
There you go.
the technology is there. Damn it! It is Star Wars. It's yes.
But I'm glad that they
we should be
addressed that.
Mandalorian salesmen. Be like, this is the way, and then they press the button, and then it unfolds. Tired of going off in the dark,
Tired of being mauled by giant birds and alligator dragon shit. Tired of eating all your food through a straw because you can't take your helmet off.
So, what's your rating, Gary?
I'm gonna give this "Shut Up and Take My Money."
Yes.
Love it.
8,000.
100%
Shut
shut
up and take my
Those
money.
episodes are great. Yeah, he looks silly when he bounced, but who cares?
Yeah, it's.
Like,
I recently,
really, if that's your problem, like it's like, come on.
yeah,
man.
if that's the most egregious thing that I took away from all of this recent Star Wars, like it's a good day. Like Star Wars has done me a lot dirtier than just tossing the burlap sack CGI monster. It's fine. Could they have done it cool? I would have gone through just between the legs and go pop pop pop. That's how I would have done it. But whatever.
Fine.
It was fine.
Still acceptable.
Just stop. It wasn't woke, possibly. We'll leave that for Twitter to decide. We should probably wrap it. We are 6 minutes past that 30 hour. For those of you who watch, thanks for watching. We had some good viewership today. Thanks for David Montoya for chiming in on the chat nerds. Thanks to Gary, creator of Stargazers, for joining us. It sounds like your brother is also a creator, and we're going to talk about trying to get the all four of us.
No, that's Rob.
Oh, sorry, Rob. Sorry, I get my peoples crossed. Anyways, but thanks for joining us, Gary. All of your information is linked on all of our social media accounts. Yeah, we like to end the show with a nerdy quote by Frosty. Locked and
All right,
loaded.
well, before we do, is there anything that you wanted to let us know where we can find you or anything like that, Gary?
Oh, sure. I'm on Twitter at Right Peaceful. You can check out the preview to Stargazers. It's on Global Comics, and from there you can find my campaign. And I'm working on another title. It's called Somberville, It's about a family of murderers and serial killers who all have a hidden network within this suburban town of evil people. So I'm working on that. That's gonna come out next year.
Awesome.
Awesome.
All right. Yeah. So, like I said, we end on a quote. So, I'm gonna do two characters here. So, Judge Fear, the undead judge from the other dimension, uh, grabs Judge Dredd and says, "Gaze into the face of fear." His power, of course, is to like make you terrified if you ever look at him.
Mm.
But Judge Dredd is no ordinary judge. And he responds with, "Gaze into the fist of dread." And he punches